This is Knox B2B, and we've got a lot of business leaders here from various business to business companies. And we just decided to have a roundtable discussion on a hot topic, which is business networking. This is not the cabling in your business. This is the actual meeting and greeting and introducing your company to other companies and generating not only referrals, but establishing relationships, strategic partnerships, and just kind of finding out what's out there in the business world. So we're going to start off with a simple question of how do you choose what networking events, groups to join or attend? And we're going to start it off with Drew from Trans World.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, great question. How do you choose what networking events to attend? There's so many to choose from chambers to independent networking organizations. I think the things that I look at are who's in the room. Are these people that I want to meet with? Are these people that are going to be beneficial long term? Are they in industries that I do business with? So are there attorneys or bankers or other financial professionals in the room who are working with the clients I want to meet with? And I think we all probably are guilty of looking at the time and the date and what part of town it's in. Do I want to drive from my office in Bearden to Lenore City at 4:30 in the afternoon? Not always, and don't want to fight all that I-40 traffic. So I think the biggest one is who's in the room, and then I think secondary to that is what works with your schedule. And I'm big into making networking feel like it fits with the other work that you have to do. But I'm curious what the rest of the guys have to say.
We'll listen to Demo.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Drew. Kind of piggybacking on what Drew says. It's about who's in the room for me, and whether or not referrals are forced in the networking group is a big factor for me, because if referrals are forced, I feel that the quality of the referrals in the networking group are a lot of times not as good. I was a member of another networking group, and I told Chris this number yesterday. The last 6 months I was there, I gave away $65,000. Thank you for closed business. Got zero back in return. And for me, my problem is consistent every single week. I'm not going to have a referral. My referrals are fewer and far between, but they're way more significant. So just the pressure of having a referral every single week is also something that kind of drives me away from a lot of other groups.
Thank you. We'll listen to Zach from Lending Wise.
Thanks, Chris. Good stuff. Thanks, Demo. Thanks, Drew. I think proximity is key, right? Having good proximity to your group is key, because if you can't show up, you're not going to go. I think that's very important. So good point on that, Drew. I would also say this, if you're networking, you're not working. Is that the right? No, that's not the right euphemism. It is, your network is your net worth. So if you're going to spend time networking, it's got to be with quality people who work with like-minded customers and like businesses, right? Because there's just certain people in networking groups that you're not going to be able to help, that you're not going to be able to refer to. So the group is extremely important. Where it is, who it is, and the purpose of the group is also going to be important. Some of the groups you walk into, they're a lot of fun, but they're social, right? And if that's what you're looking for, then hang out. But if you're there to refer business and to help as many people as you can with your company's offerings, then make sure that we're all in that together for the same reason.
Awesome. That's awesome. Drew Crook from 3 to 99. What's going on?
Hey. I think what everybody said is valid. I think you could kind of maybe balance out a few of those thoughts, because yes, what you're concerned about is who's in the room, and but depending on your industry or what work you're in, maybe the people in the room are perfectly fine in the west part of town, farther away from where you are, or the east part of town, because what you need from them and the type of work you do can be done anywhere. But then again, if you're a service person, being somewhere close to your general area of influence or where you work matters more. If they can call you up and they know that you're just down the road, So you have to weigh out those factors, I think. Like, is it better to be where you work and have a networking group there, or is it better to be in another spot where the audience you're talking to perhaps has a wider net? So a lot of it just boils down to looking at each of those factors to me.
Great stuff. Great stuff. I've been in network. Oh, Zach, I know that when I first went into business, finding the right networking group was critical. But back then it was just a couple of different options. We had BNI and Chambers, and that was pretty much all there was to choose from. And not that there's anything wrong with those, but there's so many different types of groups now that focus on, like I said, or like some people said, there's kind of a social aspect to it. So if you're looking to kind of network with some people in a casual atmosphere that you can also just kind of have some food with, or a drink or something like that, there's those type of networks. There's all kinds of different variations of that. But I know that one of the biggest things that I look for when I go to a networking group for the very first time is I look at the energy level that's in the room. I mean, a lot of times you can walk into a room and know kind of the energy level right off the bat as to whether it's an energetic, enthusiastic, positive group, or whether they're just kind of there to take up a seat. And I know that I could take a energetic positive group and find referrals in that, even if it wasn't anywhere close to what I would be looking for from a prime or a zeroed in type of group. So that's one of the big things I look for, is the energy level of the group. How many people are there? That's another thing. I mean, if it's a brand new group, that's one thing. I used to go to this group that was a speed networking. It was through a guy named Adam Small. He was from Nashville, and it was a speed networking group, and we would just meet at restaurants prior to lunch. And the first one I went to with him there was like 5 people. And the 6th one I went to, there was like 45 people. So it was like, you can tell which groups are going to be more advantageous to you, but you can also make a group advantageous just by the energy level. Jim, you got something to add?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I echo everybody's comments. I think they're all great. They're perfect. I look at all those things too. But doing what I do for a living, I always look at the ROI of the cost, no matter what. So, and it's not just the cost of if the networking group charges you money to be in it. It's the cost of the gas. It's the cost of the lost opportunity of work that I could be doing and charging for. So that's a really important thing, because if you're doing something that has no ROI, there's another thing that's happening there is the people that you're in the group with don't think that you can help them. So if you can't help the group you're in, you better find one that you can. Otherwise, you're going to probably be pretty frustrated.
That was a great point. A great point.